Welcome to the 5-Minute PM episode 20, where we break down everything project management into 5-minute segments. Today's topic: managing project scope creep like a pro. If you've ever managed a project, you know that scope creep can sneak up on you and derail your timeline, budget, and team morale. But it doesn't have to be that way. In this episode, we'll talk about 7 practical tips and tricks to help you manage and mitigate scope creep before it becomes a problem. The last one you will not be expecting. What is scope creep? Scope creep happens when a project's initial goals, deliverables, or requirements start to expand beyond what was originally agreed upon, without changes to the budget, timeline, or resources. In other words, the project grows without formal control. But scope creep isn't always a bad thing. Often, it comes from valuable feedback or ideas that stakeholders want to include. The challenge is how to manage these changes without losing control of your project. Tip 1. Define clear project goals and scope. The best way to manage scope creep is to prevent it from happening in the first place. Start by ensuring that the project scope is crystal clear from the very beginning. That means working closely with stakeholders to define and document the project's goals, deliverables, timeline, and budget. Pro tip: use a project charter or statement of work (SOW) to make sure everyone is on the same page. This document should outline the project's boundaries and what is and isn't within the project scope. Tip 2. Implement a change control process. A strong change control process is key to keeping scope creep in check. Every project is going to face changes, whether it's a new feature request or a shift in the project's business goals. The trick is making sure changes are handled in a controlled manner. Pro tip: when a change request is made, have a formal process to evaluate its impact on the timeline, budget, and resources. Then make an informed decision before moving forward. Your process should also include a change control board (CCB) or a designated group of decision-makers responsible for approving or rejecting changes. Tip 3. Engage stakeholders regularly. Stakeholders are often the source of scope creep, but they are also essential to the project's success. Regular communication and alignment with stakeholders help manage expectations and keep everyone informed about progress. Pro tip: schedule regular stakeholder check-ins, even if things are going well. Keeping stakeholders involved helps manage their expectations and minimizes the likelihood of surprise requests that could expand the project scope. Tip 4. Prioritize deliverables. Not all deliverables are created equal, and that's where prioritization comes into play. A clear set of priorities will make it easier to assess which new requests can fit into the project, and which ones can't. Pro tip: use frameworks like Moscow, must have, should have, could have, and won't have, to categorize and prioritize deliverables and changes. This ensures that the most critical tasks are given priority, and less important tasks are sidelined. Tip 5. Practice saying no or not now. Sometimes the simplest way to manage scope creep is to say no. It's important to protect your project from unnecessary changes that could derail its success. However, you don't always have to reject a stakeholder's request outright. Instead, try saying not now. Pro tip: reframe new requests as future enhancements or additions. Let stakeholders know that their ideas will be considered for future phases of the project, but they can't be accommodated in the current scope. Tip 6. Monitor and track progress continuously. Project managers should consistently monitor the project's scope and deliverables. Scope creep often happens gradually, so it's easy for small changes to slip in unnoticed. This is why tracking progress against your baseline scope is crucial. Pro tip: use earned value management (EVM) or other tracking tools to monitor whether your project is staying on track in terms of cost, time, and scope. Regular updates to the project team and stakeholders about the project's progress will help everyone stay aligned on the initial scope. Tip 7. Be prepared to re-baseline. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, scope creep is unavoidable. When that happens, it's essential to re-baseline the project to reflect new goals and timelines. This ensures that the project can still succeed within its new parameters. Pro tip: go back and watch episode 1 of 5-Minute PM, where we do a great breakdown on everything re-baselining. Managing scope creep isn't about preventing all changes. It's about controlling them. By defining a clear scope up front, establishing a strong change control process, engaging stakeholders, and tracking progress consistently, you can keep your project on track while still being flexible enough to adapt when needed. Thank you for listening to the 5-Minute PM. Remember to get more project management tips and tricks. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel.